going on the back end of things of the club. I know we like to show up and think there's some magic elves that make everything happen, but your board is hard at work, keeping things going, keeping us together when we're miles apart as the pandemic rolls on. Just some things quick. We are approaching what I think and hope may be the end of a massive update to our club's bylaws, which are sort of the rules we operate under. They keep us guided forward. They keep personalities out of the way and keep the principles of the club moving forward. So I think that's a really important thing to have in place and active and appropriate for our group. That was already started before I stepped into office. There's obviously a lot of people, the entire board that has worked on it, as well as I know Doug Turner has done a lot of the collaborative editing as it's moved forward. And so hopefully we're going to get that wrapped up. We formed a subcommittee to try and get the major last tweaks of it done and then get it fine-tuned at the next board meeting. So I do want to make an official announcement that hopefully at the next monthly meeting, we could possibly be voting it into place, or at least presenting it for your consideration in the membership for vote. Would also like to welcome Ann Fulcher. If Ann's, I'm not sure if she's still here or not too. I can't see everybody at the minute, but if she is, she has offered her services to be our liaison with the VPPA, the Virginia Professional Photography Association. She's in that group as well as our group. And this will allow her to sort of bring us information on things that may be pertinent to our club, helpful to our members, as well as carry things that we do to that group as well, and kind of be that medium in between information wise for those. I also want to congratulate our editor and newsletter chief, Karen Davis, for her award with the PSA for first place in calendar for the newsletter. So the Southern Exposure is now an award-winning publication going forward. So congratulations on that, Karen. And we do really appreciate, like I said, this is not those magic elves hidden in the background. This is people hard at work putting those publications together. Karen does a great job getting all that together and getting it out to us as a club. And I know personally, because I'm have been in the graphics art business throughout my life, know how much work that is. So we greatly appreciate that as well. If there are any few of you who are on the fence of dues being paid, there is still a little bit of leeway left from our previous bylaws. That actually, as we have found, have given a little more leeway time than we had perhaps indicated at the dead end of February. But the current bylaws do say the end of March. So if you are going to participate in things going forward, please get those in prior to that, so that if you're interested in like end of year competition, things like that, your entries, will be valid going forward as well. Appreciate everybody in the membership really submitting to the evaluation. One of the main reasons I joined this club and other clubs I belong in is because I do enjoy participating in things like that too. Because Bob, great job getting this evaluator. He did a great job. It was really just the notation part. Sometimes, we've had people doodling stuff on there, which is kind of hard to do and things, and really to understand what they're talking about, really displayed, the suggestions he was making and his opinion towards them, which, following along for me, I found validity in everything he said as well. And for me too, it does take that. Sometimes, it's like, well, maybe this way, maybe it should be flipped that way. You just try it and see, because a lot of times I'm like, nope, that doesn't work. So you put it back, but anyways, that's been great. And I think, let's see here. I believe I had a request from Karen to share what she's been doing too. So why don't you go ahead and do that, Karen?
Okay, yeah, just a couple of things. Keep in mind that we are having a cover shot contest. So go out to Meetup and look for that photo gallery and submit your photo for our cover shot, and tune in to the next month and see who's been selected. A portrait orientation works best, and if you could do 8.5 by 11, that'd be great. It would fit in there nicely. Keep an eye out on the Facebook page. Anita Storino has been doing a great job showing all of our prize winning photos from last year, from the 2020 end of year competition. So she's switching those up as the cover shot there on Facebook. All you budding writers out there, if you'd like to have an article published in our newsletter, we're always looking for content. So that would be great to know. And likewise, if you have achieved some acclaim with some of your work, some of your photography, please let me know so that we can put that in the newsletter. And if you'd like to help collaborate all that stuff, it does take some time to go find out, who's at Artworks and who's at Crossroads and, et cetera, et cetera. That would be really helpful to have somebody do that. But if you can just funnel it to me, that would be great so we can get it in there the next time. So that's all I have. Thanks, Bob.
Great, thanks, Karen. And to put out there too, if any of you do have time on your hands nowadays, we do actually have a couple of board members that are serving.
Mary, who was the artist that threw all paints together and stuff, and very famous?
Jackson Pollock.
I'm losing his name.
You got that. But the Karen is doing double duty between publications and publicity. So if there's anyone interested in learning more about those positions, or at least helping out with her, she is pulling double duty. And actually so is Doug Turner, which, at the moment we don't have a lot of conflict with needing the library tended to, because it's, I believe, sitting in a closet at the church. But at some point, when we all can get back together, I believe that could be another position that needs to be filled to alleviate someone else that's doing double duty on those also. And let's see, Jay Denny had asked to talk a little bit too about exhibits. You want to share that, Jay?
Yes, thank you, Bob. The Camera Club will have exhibit space at the Richmond Public Library in August of 2022. Obviously, they've had to push things around because of all the pandemic, et cetera. So we made a pitch to the library, and as a part of that, some of you gave me prints to use for that presentation. So my request is this: if you gave me a print, please email me. And if you don't mind, use my personal email address, jrdenny@comcast.net. I put it into the chat, but I'll contact you about trying to get the image back to you. I mean, all the prints are safe there. I've got them here, but I just don't want to hold on to them for a very long period of time. So if you lent a print for the Richmond Public Library presentation, please feel free to email me at jrdenny@comcast.net. Thank you.
Okay, Jay, thank you. Let's see, were there any other board members that wanted to share anything about what's going on with their tasks at the moment?
Hey, Robert, you can talk about what your presentation is going to be next month.
Yeah, I could talk some about that.
Coming up. We're going to use our new president right out of the bat.
Yeah, so I kind of went a little back and forth on that. I was going to see, let me see if I can pull up quick. Yeah, I don't see it here. Sorry.
We should add that we twisted his arm way before we twisted the other arm to become president. We had this lined up even beforehand, but it was kind of a nice bonus.
Yeah, what was the title that we finally came up with on that? Do you remember, Karen?
Oh, Well, hold on. It's out in Meetup, so let me go look.
Because I went back and forth on that a couple of times too.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I go look here.
Mary Ann has so many events out there. I have to go to page 2, I think, to find. Great
Yeah,
job. Mary.
yes, and if you're getting too many emails, I apologize. I've been trying to get those dates straight, but they pop up and I don't want you to miss anything.
Yeah, I found it. It's I think we ended up with, so I wanted to sort of tailor something that would fit more, because you guys know I'm a big critter guy, especially the birds and stuff, and there's certainly others in the group who have similar interests with that. So what I'm going to do is kind of run through a few of my favorite go-to photography locations here in Virginia, and kind of go through, some of the more logistical and, where's a good place to be when you're here? Why is that a good place? Because you can have someone direct someone to you on a place on the map, but if you're not there at the right season or the right time of day, even sometimes can make a huge difference in the images you bring home as well. But some of the places that I go to, and I've been to every month of the year, from out on the Eastern Shore to over along the mountain ranges, as well as here around Richmond as well. So we'll go through some of those and some of my favorite images from those. And one of those always topping the list, for me too, and especially during the restricted times that we live in here too, is what happens right in my own backyard too. But it spans out well from there, like I said, all the way from a couple places along the mountains to local, and then several places along the Eastern Shore that when I've got a weekend or a minute. I mean, we've got one of those will be a place we're going to tomorrow, which is in Alexandria. That's not the great thing about all these locations is they're not a extreme distance to get to. You're looking at one thing I've loved about moving to Richmond is when I was in Bedford County, it was a 4-hour drive to the beach, and here it's half of that. Same with getting, I can be up in the Shenandoah in almost the same amount of time that I can be in Cape Charles. So it really is, great. So being here in the almost center of the state is a great place to be. And, and we'll share those locations in there. There'll be more information about that too in the newsletter as well. And so I've got my homework cut out for me to finish putting that program together too, but thought it would cater something, that would be more encompassing to all photographers and not just the bird people. So that'll be fun. So I think that's, if there are no other committees that want to jump in and report anything, I think that's most of the meeting. Once again, Nick Stover did a great job. Too, it was really nice to be able to see the suggestions he was making, sort of transforming to kind of get an idea of what's you can do. Sometimes it is just those last little, notions like that. And, watching your, things that I have learned, especially over the last few years, is histogram. It is the map of your image, and it really can be the key to, even in the camera, at that root level, as well as later in Photoshop, but to see if I've got the right range, the best dynamic range that I can have in an image. My background is in the printing industry. Back when I did a lot of, prior to the digital age, even then, it was making sure you had correct exposure in film. Now it's the same thing with digital, but you can see that graph, to make sure you're, kissing the darks and you're kissing the whites, and then everything else is spread in between, which certainly will vary on image to image, but it is that core indicator that I have as much extent the image I had to start with displayed in there, you know, and then as so many of you guys done such a great job with your own, you know, bringing your own artistic interpretation, you know, to what you had to start with. So that was really great to see. And I'll agree, we do really have, you know, that was a great group of images as well from one end to the other. So really nice to see. Glad we got some youngsters, you know, joining in as well besides me. And, you know, going forward, it'll be interesting to see what Sebastian brings to the group as well, because it's great to have, you know, fresh eyes in this as well. So that's always wonderful to see that perspective as well. So I believe our next meeting will be a month from now. What's the date? Do you know what the date is, Karen? It's the second Wednesday of next month.
Hold on a minute. April the, hold on.
14th.
14th.
The
April
14th.
14th.
So that'll be April 14th. I'll have to write that date down since I'm speaking. So
Please.
and we'll try to be there. So in the meantime, you guys be safe. Get out there, get some dust on your sensor, and we'll see you next month, I guess. Actually, sorry.
All right.
Thanks for coming out tonight, y'all. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Karen.
Take care.
Night, everybody. Night.
Bye-bye.
Night, thank you.
Good
Night.
night, y'all.
Good seeing you. Glad to be back.
Bye.